Hello YouTube and welcome to the Veedverks Cup Outlaws Series race. This is playoff race number 8, and you know what that means? Come 2 weeks time, we will crown a Veedverks Cup Outlaws Series champion down at Homestead Miami Speedway. But first, we have tonight's race, the Texas 250 at the Texas Motor Speedway, the 1.5 mile racetrack recently repaved. We got 10 drivers out on the track tonight, and it's gonna be a fun one. We got 4 rookies, 3 drivers making their first starts tonight, but also the final 4 has been set. 3 of the final 4 racing tonight, and it's a lot of fun tonight. Everybody's going for a win, no pressure. It's all about momentum on the way to Homestead. So here we go, let's run through our starting lineup now. On the front row, we have the 55 of Clutch, and starting alongside of him, the 42 of Crazy. In row 2 we have the 20 of Miz, and on his outside we have the 41 of Scott. In row 3 we have the 48 of Motorsports. Alongside of him we have the 95 of Markle. In row 4 we have the 31 of Freak, and outside of him the 51 of Addy. In row 5 you have the 78 of Spoob, and on the outside of him the 9 of Cracker. So 10 cars double wide, ready to go. It's time to go racing at Texas. Green flag in the air. We're racing. The 55 out in front trying to clear the 42 down into 1. The 55 and the 42, they single file through 1. The 42 looks at the inside of the 55 down the backstretch. Side by side into 1, Crazy trying to take the race lead. New race leader to 42, Crazy, he clears the 55. Here comes the 20 of Miz, looking to the inside. He's the highest running of the final 4 drivers now. Looking for that added momentum on his way to Homestead. Battle for second. Still really tight. Miz, see if he can clear off a 4 here to 55 car. He'll clear him. Here comes the 95 as well. So move Markle to 3rd. The 55 who started on pole already back to 4th. See the 41 of Scott looking to the outside of the 55 now falls back in line as the 55 got a huge run on the 95 down the back stretch. He couldn't get to either side of the 95. Looks like we got 3 cars under a blanket now. No Sateo. That's the 20 of Miz, the 95 of Markle, and the 55 of Clutch. 3 cars, no Sateo battling for second. All of this happening behind race leader in the 42, Crazy. Back here, the battle for 5th rages on. It's the 41 of Scott trying to fend off the 51 of Addy. Through 3 and 4 now. The 20 slides up. Marco trying to get to the inside of Miz. That's going on for second. Motorsports already on pit road, and it may be day done early here in Texas. Oh, Marco hits the apron there, and he has to slide up the track. The 55 tried to find a way around him quick. Did not find a way. So the 48 had trouble here early, and he won't even take the green. You hate to see that. The battle for 3rd now rages on. The 55 to the inside of the 95 into 3. Marco trying to use that outside lane, that middle lane to his advantage, try to run off the corner. But the 55 with the shorter way around the racetrack, and a somewhat push from the 51 of Addy. Again, this is going on for the 3rd position. Marco, he's going to go from 3rd to 5th in a heartbeat here, as there goes the 55 of Clutch and the 51 of Addy. Right now we work lap number 8 of 42 here in stage 1. It's 167 laps tonight. Stage 1, 42 laps. Now Markle losing grip in those tires early, trying to hold on to the 5th position now, but he's got a hungry Scott behind him. Top 6 nose to tail. A 42 leading them all. Here comes the 41 diving to the inside of the 95. Markle just trying to keep the car under him. He's diving, or he's holding on in the middle lane. Side by side down the front stretch as we start lap number 9. The 41 clears the 95 for 5th. Working lap number 10 here as they're going 3 wide for the 2nd position. Looks like they all sorted themselves out. Looks like that is the 55 of Clutch to 2nd, 51 of Addy to 3rd, and Miz falling back to 4th. All that, again, happening behind the 42 of Crazy. It's all about that man in the 42, but these three, if they can get nose to tail, they can start to run a train on him quick. Looks like the 55 and the 51 are starting to team up a little bit here. Get that draft and all that slipstream on the 42. Crazy. He was alone for a second, but not anymore. He's got company. It's 3-car battle for the race lead, and Miz ain't too far behind. The 42 sliding up on the exit. The 55 did as well in the slipstream. Almost hit the wall. The 51 almost tried to take advantage of it, but he's staying loyal to the 55. 3 Chevys nose to tail heading a Toyota. They're the 4th car in line, and it's a 4-car breakaway out in front. Still the 4 cars nose to tail, the 42, 55, 51, and 20, but they're all trying to find a way around one another. 42, he's about half a lane up off the bottom, leaving room for the 55. A little bit of false hope, maybe, trying to fend off the 55. The 51 of Addy got around the 55. Lost a lot of momentum there, Clutch. So Addy to 2nd, see if he can take on race leader Crazy. We work lap 15 of 42 here in stage number 1. Addy closing right up to the back bumper of that 42. We right on board. Nose to tail all the way down the straightaway. He dives to the inside. The 42 trying to get the run off the corner on the outside lane. 51 closing ever so close to that side-by-side point with the 42. They're side-by-side down the front stretch into 1. The 51 on the inside, that's the preferred line, but he hits the apron. The 42 is going to get the run off the exit. They're side by side again. All this happening out in front of the 55 of Clutch. And 55, he lost a lot of momentum there. And it's a 2-horse race still out in front. Crazy on the outside, Addy on the inside. Double wide all the way around the racetrack. Addy trying to get out in front of that 42 and clear him. And the 42 trying to stay out in front of that 51 and clear him. And the 42 hit the wall. Addy is going to clear the 42 to the race lead. And that's a new leader. So out in front goes the 51 of Addy. Now he's going to see if he can pull away from the 42. Looks like the 51 is set up more for a long run here. But these guys, they're about to pit in the coming laps. Here comes the 55 to the pit lane, diving all the way to the inside. That's the rule. Got to stay on the apron of the racetrack through 3 and 4 to make a commitment to pit lane. Nose to tail to 41 of Scott. He's gotten out in front of Miz. That's for 3rd. And Miz gets into the wall. 41 makes his commitment down low. Here comes the 41 to pit lane. A lot of cars on pit lane. The 31 and the 55. The 41 making his effort as well. Addy's trying to open up a little bit of a gap to the 42. Side by side on the pit road, the 41 and the 95. The 42 to pit road. Something to miss on the 20 car. You heard her, he sounded alarm on the radio. He did pass the 42 on the pit entry. Here comes the 51 of Addy to pit road. Right on the limit of where he could run. Here he comes flying to pit road now. The race leader's in. And the 78 is as well. Here comes the 9 on his way out. The 55 coming full speed all the way around. He's going to come unlap himself from the 51. The 20's on his way out. The 42 on their way out as well. So right now, Clutch is going to be the theoretical driver in second. It's going to be a race to see where Clutch comes out compared to Addy for the race lead. Oh, 3 wide, the 31 puts the 95 in the wall on the backstretch, coming out of the pit lane. That's the 31, a freak. The 51, he's coming out of pit lane now. 55 coming with a full head of steam on the outside. In Clutch will pass the 51 with ease and take over the race lead to move the 55 of Clutch to the race lead. And a pretty good gap as well. So right now at the moment Clutch has a pretty good race lead and comfortable at that. So he's now looking to just ride the rest of this stage out. Can he make it to the end is another question. So after pit stops, the 55 of Clutch out in front, the 51 of Addy out second, the 42 of Crazy in third. I believe the 41 of Scott in fourth. And Markle was fifth. But now falling back behind the 31 with all that contact. So the 31 of Freak 6th, the 95 Markle in 7th, the 20 of Miz in 8th after his screw up coming to pit lane, the 78 of Spoob. That is right, the 20 of Miz is 7th, my bad. The 9 of Cracker is in 8th, the 78 of Spoob is in 9th. And the 48 right now out of the race. On board the 51, he's in the slipstream with that 55 and trying to close the gap here. Make sure you go show some love to our series and league sponsor Veedverks and go to Veedverks.com. Use promo code VCOS for discounts on CBD based products and needs. Back up front, the 51 has definitely closed the gap on the 55, and he's starting to pile on the pressure. By the end of this lap, the 51 should be all over the back bumper of that 55. The 55 of Clutch and the 51 of Addy about to go toe-to-toe for the race lead. On board the 51. Can he find a way around the 55 quick? $15 laps to go here in stage 1. Can these drivers make it to the end on fuel? Biggest question right now, the 51 of Addy passes the 55 with ease. And back to the race lead he goes with the 55. He's hanging tough in the slipstream. All over the back bumper of that black and red 51 car. Or white and red. And the back bumper is black. 55 is all black. Unsponsored. Please sponsor the 55. Diving to the inside. Here comes the 55, the pit road. He cannot make it to the end. The 9 is as well. And the 95. Is anybody going to be brave enough to try to stretch it? Again, I say stretch because that is what it is. It is a long stretch and you got to be really conservative with your throttle. But it is possible. I think most drivers are running about two laps short, or lap short. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Here comes the 9 out of pit lane. And he's going to be lapped by Addy. The 78, a Spoob, he's about to go one down to the 51. But I can almost assure you that he is attempting to save some fuel in that car. More drivers work their way to pit road. There's the 42 and the 31. And the 41's coming out. Addy does put a lap on Spoob and Cracker behind Spoob there. I believe Cracker is one more lap down to the 78. .42 trying to get as much as he can on pit exit. He's racing the 55 here. Clutch goes by with ease around the 42. Should Addy not be able to make it to the end, that could have been the pass of the race lead there. The 55 on the 42. So right now your top 3 is Addy and Miz, and the first car one lap down is Spoob running third. Everybody else has pitted because they know they can't make it to the end. But the 51, the 20, and the 78, even though he's one down, they're all in the same boat trying to stretch it as far as they can. You see Miz, he's about to go one lap down to Addy, and wow, what a story it'd be so early in this race for the 51 to put the whole field one down. Granted, half of it's due to pit strategy, but it's still an accomplishment nonetheless. 9 Carvo, Cracker trying to unlap himself from Addy. I believe he's unlapping himself to make himself one lap down. Or attempting to. Right now the 9 of Cracker still 2 down, but all over the back bumper of the 51. He slides up the track. And now I can almost guarantee the 51 is not running as fast as he can, trying to save some fuel. But catching up to almost lap second place Miz. The 51 sliding all the way up the track. So we work closer and closer to the end of stage number 1 here. Right now it is 6 laps to go, coming around to 5 to go. Five laps to go here in stage number 1. Can Addy, can Miz, can Spoob, can they make it on fuel? Everybody else, can they catch them? I don't think so, because I believe everybody's still a lap down, but if they run out of gas, when they run out of gas, if they do, is there enough time for them to be passed? Again, the top three have yet to pit. Spoob is 1 down. Miz is 20 some odd seconds behind the 51. And the 51 right now is racing the 9 of Cracker. The 9 of Cracker trying to put himself 1 lap down, and he will finally get around that 51. A long, hard-fought battle to put himself 1 down. This strategy right here, if the 51 or the 20 or the 78 can pull it off, this is really going to hurt some people's days, as they're going to end up being 1 lap down, and most of them, I'm sure, only took enough fuel and tires to make it to the end of the stage and not be able to stay out and take a wave around. So, foreshadowing the future, it is not looking pretty if these guys can make it on fuel for the rest of the field. Here comes the 95 to pit road again. You hate to see it, but the 55 is coming for full head of steam. And pit road is closed. The 55 unlaps himself from the 51, so the 55's on the lead lap. So now the 51, he's got to have full power all the way around the track to win the stage here. The 78 right behind them. Again, they're all close on fuel. Can they make it? Working the last lap of stage 1. The 51 of Addy, half a lap over second place. Third place Spoob right behind him on the same strategy. Here we go into turn 3. Oh, that's right. The 78 is now falling back to 4th. The 55 is on the lead lap, but it's all about the man of the 51. Addy will win stage 1. The 78 of Spoob, he comes home 4th in the stage, and he... and the 78 of Spoob, he will be 4th, and the first car 1 lap down. Everybody else, they're battling for to be the first car 1 lap down on the next caution. Right now, the 20 of Miz comes 2nd. No, the 55 got past the 20. The 55 had a full head of steam, and he got the 2nd. Miz is 3rd. Spoob is 4th. And everybody else is going to be a lap down on the start. 5th is the 42 of Crazy. 6th is Scott. 7th is Freak. 8th is Cracker. 9th is Markle. Markle has a penalty, by the way. He has a pass-through penalty, not for pitting too late, but for coming right off the racetrack and not hitting the commitment line that is down on the entry of turn 3. So, pass-through penalty here on the green flag for the 95 of Markle. And at the moment, he is 3 down, and it's not looking pretty. He's going to go at least 1 more. So right now, 4 cars on the lead lap. We got the 51, the 20, the 55, and the 41 comes out 4th. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Texas. I'm sorry, the 41's in 5th, but he's the 4th car physically. So Addy right now clear of the 20 of Miz. The 55 of Clutch looking for a way to the outside. He goes to the 51. The 42 trying to unlap himself. The 42 hits the apron. Trying to keep the car under him now. 55 of Clutch. He's trying to get back up there. And maybe try to keep the competition back behind the 51. It'd be smart to keep his competitors a lap down and out of contention. At the moment, here comes the 55. He's sliding up the track. The 20's got to check up as well. Things not looking good on the connectivity side of things as drivers are lagging out of the party, and there's less and less communication as we go on. That means your race leader does not have communication to the race control tower. So the race leader will not have an idea. And there goes the 31 as well. A lot of connectivity issues going on right now, but the 51 of Addy still leading out in front of the 55 of Clutch, the 42 is physically right behind the 51, trying to unlap himself. That is crazy. So bear with us here. A lot of connectivity issues, and there goes the 31 as well. Everybody's nose to tail. We've lost 4 drivers out of our main communication line here. The 55 sliding up the track, trying to get the run off the corner. The 42 with a huge run on Addy, trying to unlap himself. The first car 1 lap down is that 42, and he's all over the racetrack trying to find a way on the 51. Addy with a huge block. He knows that's his main competition. He's got to keep him behind him. But as I say that, the 41 and the 9, they're battling for first car 1 lap down. Scott and Cracker, yeah, that if the 42 is able to get around the 51 and stay in front of him, the battle where the 41 and the 9 is right now, that's the battle for 6th position, but that would be first car 1 lap down, and there goes Scott. He's falling back like a rock. The 31, a freak. He's now closing into battle the 9 car. The 42 still all over the back bumper of the 51. The 55, that's Clutch diving to the inside of the 42. He says, get out of here, lap car. I want this to be a race between us 2 for the race lead. And rightfully so. Right now working the middle of stage 2 here, just a few laps in. 33 to go in the stage. A lot of connectivity issues now. 95 blown engine day done. On board the 55, huge run on Addy. The top 2 in the first car 1 lap down, running nose to tail. That's Addy, Clutch, and Crazy in the 42, 1 down. But running 5th on the track. Right now, the 9 of Cracker, he is the second car 1 lap down. At the 42 can get around the 2 in front of him. Don't forget, Spoob right now is in 4th right, with a great run. It's going to add some momentum to his bid in the championship. He's closing in on fellow championship competitor Miz. Miz is running 3rd, Spoob in 4th. The battle is going on out in front. The 55 trying to get a fender to the inside of the 51 here. We're working 29 laps to go here in stage number 2. Coming to 28 to go. This is a 39 lap stage. We're coming around to start lap number 12. Oh, the 55 really trying to arc it into the corner to try to get even lower than the 51, but you just can't get lower than that white line. 55 is really trying hard, looking around, trying to run where the 51 is not running. Addy again doing a really great job defending in the race lead position here. Trying to fend off the 55 of Clutch. Again, Clutch is making his first start of the season and has had a phenomenal performance in his first start. 55 Addy, he caught the wall on the entry to the corner, trying to keep the 55 behind him. And now Addy's starting to pull a gap on Clutch. But using that slipstream down the front stretch, the 55 is going to close right into that back bumper, trying to get to the fender to the inside, and he does so. They're going to be side by side out of 2. Addy trying to get the run to stay out in front. Clutch trying to keep his fender under him, and Addy will clear. Clutch retains the race lead. Clutch fighting hard to the inside again. He knows he's got a faster car than Addy. He pushes him on the corner exit. Nose to tail, and if anything happens with these two, the 42 is able to get his lap back easily. They almost both go into the wall, the 55 and the 51. Now the 42 is not on the back bumper of the 55. He wants in on this. He's not battling for the lead. He's just trying to save his race. Now the 55 a little preoccupied with the 42. Addy has a little bit of breathing room now to try to regain a rhythm. The 55 still coming strong. 42 gets to the inside of the 55, and they made a little bit of contact on the exit of 2. Now the 55 is going to lose momentum, lose time to Addy. While the 42 is trying to be a hero and try to get his lap back now. Rightfully so, though. Let's not take away any of that. He got the pace to be up there. But these two, they're battling hard for the race lead and gets right into the middle of it. The 55 trying to get back in front of the 42, and he does so. Side by side out of turn 4. The 42 and the 55, they're still side by side again. This is not for position. 42 is just lessening the cars to get back onto the lead lap now. Back up front, it's all about the Addy, the 51 car. Not his first start in the league, but I believe this is his first start of the season, and it's been a minute. Great to see him back in the league and put on a phenomenal show. And I believe his first start of the season. Trying to maximize his pit entry now. The 51, the 55, the 20, the 42, the 9, the 78. Oh, he has trouble getting to pit road. He hit the brakes trying to stay off of somebody and does hit the wall on the outside of turn 4 and makes it back to pit road. There's Addy rejoining the party. We're getting our drivers back here on our main connectivity line here, the main communication line. So the 51, the 55, the 20 all coming out of pit lane now. 31's coming for full head of steam. So Addy coming out of pit lane and still out in front. The 31 of Freak. He's moved into the first car, 1 lap down position. That's the prime position anybody from 5th on back needs to be in. The running order now of the 51 of Addy over to 55 of Clutch, the 20 of Miz, the 78 of Spoob, and that's it for the lead lap. Right now the 31 of Freak is running 5th, and the first car 1 lap down. The 31 has made his way to pit road, so that was short-lived. Had not realized he hadn't made his pit stop. I thought he had short pitted, actually. Let's gonna shuffle the 41 of Scott to the first car 1 lap down position. And right now he's got a sizable margin over the 42 of Crazy. 42 I know is fast, and he can most likely easily catch that 41 car. And it's going to be a battle. And around goes the 78. The 9's into the wall as well. That could be a caution, but not sure yet. We're waiting on race control. See if we can get any kind of message. Was that incident a caution? Yes. Alright, that incident did cause a caution, so we have a caution on the racetrack. Race leader is the 51 of Addy. Right now in turn 2. And I believe the first car 1 lap down is the 41. And he ends up getting into the wall, I believe, trying to avoid the 42. Some tension there, but the 41 car should be the first car 1 lap down and should be the beneficiary of the first actual caution of the day. Pit road is closed for the moment. Alright, can do that. So as the field groups up here, let's get the communication line in touch. It is not me. I do not have the ability to invite the league owner. At least 2. It is the Clutch. You Alright, pit road is open this time. I'd go with that call too, just because everybody was queued up. A lot of confusion right now. We're trying to get everybody settled in here.
Yep, that's fine. Go ahead and do your stop. Get back to where you're supposed to be at. And I'm glad everybody realized what was going on and was able to get back to your communications back.
I saw the incident and I tried to figure it out as soon as possible. Actually, I hadn't seen the incident live. I actually saw it via your stream. We lost 4 or 5. Markle is done for the race. He had disconnected. The 9 is going to be getting laps back, attempting to call that caution. I believe the 51 is still out in front as a result of pit stops. The 55 comes out second. The 20 comes out third. The 78 should... So the 55 will retain second right now, is trying to help us get our communication line reorganized. The 78 should still be fourth on the lead lap. The 41 should be the first, or should be back on the lead lap. Should So this is going to be an extended caution period as we try to get the field and everybody back in order. But it is a blessing. Yes, the 41. As the field works their way under caution, again, a pretty dominating performance early from the 51 of Addy. Clutch has been right on his tail for most of the stage. Miz has been running about mid-pack, running third, and is on the lead lap, and not many more spots you can lose at the moment. There's only 5 cars on the lead lap at the moment. That'd be the 51, the 55, the 20, the 78, and the 41 now is newly rejoined the lead lap. Oh, the 41 hits the brakes, trying to miss the 42. Oh, that's a heart-stopping moment for both the 41 and the 42. So we did get 1 to go from race control, and it does look like we are good to go. So we are getting 1 to go. Yeah, everybody had another lap to recatch their breath, rightfully so. So let's recap what we've got going on here. The 51 and the 55 in row 1. Row 2 should be the 20 and the 42. The 41 has got to drop to the rear for being the beneficiary. So row 2 should be the 20 and the 42. Row 3 should be the 31 and the 41. Yes. Alright, so here we go. It's going to be the 51 of Addy and the 55 of Clutch. Those two have been putting on a show today. The 20 of Miz. Let's see if we can bring some momentum into Homestead and maybe stick with the fast two so far. We got Spoob and the 41 on the lead lap here. That's 4th and 5th. And right now the 42 is the first car 1 lap down. We're back to racing. It's a green flag. That's a waving. And they're double wide heading to turn 1. Addy will clear the 55 of Clutch. The 20 of Miz right there in 3rd. Again, the 42, he's fast, but he is strapped 1 lap down, and he's going to try to get his lap back the old-fashioned way, as we'd like to call it. And with this most recent caution, fuel should not be an issue. The 51 and the 55 and the 20, they're all running nose to tail here. Can Addy fend off this 55 and the 20 of Miz for 7 laps? As we're coming around to 7 laps to go. The 55, he's hungry for a stage win. The 20, he's hungry for some momentum. Top 3 nose to tail. And the 42, they're the 4th physical car in line. Looks like the 55 went down low. The 20's got to run on the outside. Move Miz to 2nd. Addy's still hanging tough out in the race lead and opening a gap now. 6 to go in stage 2. Right now, Miz and Clutch, they're going toe-to-toe for 2nd. All happening behind the 51 of Addy. The 41 of Scott is in 4th. The 78 of Spoob, he's trying to push his way back up front because he's the last car in the lead lap in 5th. The 55's into the wall. He's going to lose some momentum to 41, and he's a-coming. It's about to be a 4-car, and if Spoob can get around the 9-car, it'll be a 5-car battle. Now it's a tail for the race lead. 4.5 laps to go now in stage 2. Right now up front, it's the 51 of Addy and the 20 of Miz. Addy running about half a lane higher through 3 and 4, and Miz got a huge run through the center of the corner, up to the back bumper, using the slipstream of the 51, diving to the inside into turn 1, trying to get his fender under him. And 20 tries again to the inside of the 51. Incidents happening in the back between the 78 and the 9. Three laps to go, and Addy's got to fend off a hungry championship driver. Here comes Miz to the inside of Addy. The 55 of a full head of steam as well. Oh, the 9 sitting there on the apron. That's not a good spot to be sitting. So Miz right now to the race lead, but it's new territory for him this race. Can he stay up there for the next 2 laps? 2 laps to go. The 55 diving to the inside of the 51. They got to get it sorted out behind them if they're going to have any chance of beating the 20 of Miz. A lap and a half to go. Just over 2 miles left in stage number 2. Addy won the first stage, right now sitting 3rd, but knows the tail and has an easy shot, or easy view of the race leader right now. 1 lap to go in stage 2. Knows the tail Miz. He's just got to fend him off one more time here down in 3 and 4. The 55 looking to see if he can get a run. He's got to run, but is it too little, too late? He's coming from full head of steam. They're going to be side by side out of 4. Miz has got the advantage, and Miz is going to win stage 1 in a side by side finish with Clutch coming 2nd, Addy 3rd, Scott 4th, Spoob in 5th, and I believe the 42 of Crazy does finish stage 2 as the first car 1 lap down, so the 42 will join the rest of the gang on the lead lap. There will be 6 cars on the lead lap. The 31 of Freak 7th, the 9 of Cracker 8th. They are both 2 laps down. The 95 and the 48 of Markle and Motorsports, they are both out due to issues early. Actually, the 48 didn't even take the green. But, what a wild stage finish there for the end of stage 2. And you know, that's just a little preview, because I think these drivers are going to take it up another level here for the race end here. So here we go, we're double wide and we're going to try it again. Miz, Clutch on the first row, Addy and Scott in row 2, Spoob there in row 3, and we're back to racing. Double wide to turn 1, Miz trying to clear the 55, and he will do so. Addy looking to get the 2nd, Spoob with a full head of steam looking to get the 3rd, and the 55 did not go. He got a bad restart. Here comes the 41 to the inside, looking to take away 4. Spoob with a big head of steam looking to get it into the race lead battle. Addy to the inside of Miz for the race lead. They're side by side, and now Spoob's in the middle of a couple double wide battles. Oh, and he's 78 hard into the wall. He collects the 31. Caution on the speedway. And Miz will hold the race lead over Addy. The 41 of Scott, the 55 of Clutch, and the 42 of Crazy are your top 5. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the 9 gets a lap back. The 9 will get one of his 2 laps back. So nobody rejoins the lead lap, but the 9 is now 1 lap down. Working our second physical caution of the day. It is our fourth caution of the race. We had 2 stage cautions. Well, I'll go ahead and we'll take this moment as the 9 of Cracker rejoins the queue. Pit road will be open this time, but before we get there, make sure you go to Veedverks.com and use promo code VCOS for discounts on CBD-based products and needs. They support us a lot. The drivers love them. You just gotta try it out for yourself, to be brutally honest. Products work out great for everyone. So right now, the 51 to 20, they're coming to pit lane, nose to tail. Here we go. It's a busy pit lane. So these drivers, we could see some strategy, because these drivers, they just came off of the stage caution, so most of them have 4 fresh tires for the most part. So we could see drivers take splashes, drivers take 2. This is about the only time in a stint where taking 2 is a viable option, because if you take 2 late in a stint, it is not happening. So the 20 of Miz, he does beat the 41 and the 51 out of pit lane. So Miz first, Scott second, Addy third on the pit exit. Then it looks like Clutch fourth, Crazy fifth, Cracker comes out sixth, Spoob seventh, but Cracker will go to the rear. He will still be ahead of Spooby. Cracker will go to the rear as the beneficiary. Spoob is going to the rear for caution. And 31 comes out in 8th. We're getting 1 to go this time from race control. Another lap or so to get our breath. Recatch our breath after a wild stage finish and a wild restart. Oh, the 51 made contact with the 78. I was a little confused at that, because the 51 was ahead of the 78. I believe the 51 was battling the 20. Alright, so we got a reface at the front of the field here. So on row 1 we have the 20 of Miz and the 41 of Scott. In row 2 we have the 55 of Clutch and the 42 of Crazy. Row 3 have a couple of lap down cars. No, yes we do. The 31 of Freak is 2 down. The 9 of Cracker is 1 down. And in row 4 you have a couple of lead lap cars at the rear. The 51 of Addy and the 78 of Spoob. We're going back to racing. Miz gets a great start. He clears the 41. The 55 follows suit, and up to second he goes. The 41 of Scott, he's able to get down in line in third, and Crazy's dropping all the way back. Still fourth on the track now. Here comes the 51 past him, so Addy back to fourth. Cracker into the wall. By himself, we stay green. Miz right now hanging tough, but he's battling and he's trying to fend off a hungry Clutch. 31 way up the track. Again, Miz locked in to a spot at Homestead to compete for a championship come 2 weeks' time. This is trying to add some momentum. He's losing the lead now to the 55 of Clutch. The 41 loose off the corner, almost takes out the 20. And a lot of the gaggle of cars now. We have the 41 of Scott, the 20 of Miz, the 51 of Addy trying to shoot his way to third, the 42 of Crazy there in fourth. So right now it's Clutch, Scott, Addy, Crazy, Miz, Spoob. The lead lap car is nose to tail, and the 31 of Freak 2 down at the tail end of the queue. Right now, Miz and Crazy, they're going toe to toe. That's going on for the 4th position, and around goes the 20. Oh, and the 20 to 9, heavy contact. That's going to be a caution. Caution on the speedway. Clutch is your race leader. Heavy impact. The 20 got sent to the grass and had no control down there. It's like ice down there. Came up the racetrack and absolutely clobbered the 9. The pit lane will be open this time by to the leaders. This should be no, never. Technically the 9 is the beneficiary, but since he was the cause of the caution, he is not able to get a lap back. Right now we have 70 laps to go here in the race. We'll see how strategies play out. These drivers, they're going about 20-ish laps on fuel and tires, so we're at least getting 2 more pit stops, 3 more pit stops, unless we have a god saving fuel and tires that can get 2 out of this last 70 laps, or we get some more cautions our way. The 31 though is not pitting and will take the wave around and will get 1 of his laps back. 31 speeding around the track now, rejoining the field. We got a busy pit lane again. Not that many laps, but this time I feel more drivers will take 4 tires now. So the 41 is down and away, and Scott to the race lead. Looks like he took 2 tires. The rest of the field, here we go. Drivers down and away. It's the 55, the 42, the 51, the 78, the 9 down and away. The 20 getting repairs now. And the 20 is down and away. 31 rejoins the queue. He will be rejoining the queue towards the rear of it for getting the free pass. So, or the beneficiary. Yeah, the wave round. Beneficiary, free pass are the same thing. So right now we have 6 drivers on the lead lap and 2 drivers that are 1 down. So right now Cracker and Freak are going to be going toe to toe for first car 1 lap down. We got 1 lap to go here, so drivers have to get relined up. The 31 and the 9, they're already going to be restarting close to each other physically. The 20 is going to be back there as well. Alright, so let's go through our restart order here. In row 1, we got the 41 of Scott and the 55 of Clutch. In row 2, we have the 42 of Crazy and the 51 of Addy. In row 3, we have the 78 of Spoob on the lead lap. Cracker, 1 down, restarts to the outside of the 78. And in row 4, we have the 20 of Miz. He restarts 6th, 7 physically on the restart. And the 31 of Freak restarting 8th, 1 down. On this restart, he'll be battling the 9 car, who restarts right in front of him physically. For first car 1 lap down, should we get another caution? One of those 2 will get 1 lap back, provided they are not the cause of the caution. So here we go, 8 cars double wide, and back to racing we go. The 41 of Scott gets a pretty good start, and he's going to be side by side with the 55 on the way down to 1. just the nature of the track. The preferred line is the inside, and the 41, with some help from the 42, they're going to clear the 55, and Addy jumps down. He's looking for third. Crazy to the outside of Scott. They're going to be side by side in the 3. Toe to toe, it's 6 cars under a blanket for the race lead. 190-mile-per-hour pace laps we go with 6 cars. Crazy trying to clear Scott. Crazy will clear Scott, but the 55 to the outside of the 41 bats for second. And the 42, he led very early in this race, and he finally gets back to the race lead here in the middle of stage 3. Scott will be clear of Addy and Clutch for second. Now Addy fights back on the inside. Side by side down the back. The 42 of Crazy, he's loving it. 41 really squirrely through the quad oval there. Addy clear of Scott for second. And Scott now trying to hold on to third. Here comes a hungry Miz down the inside. Caution on the speedway. 31. And I believe the 9. So both of those drivers were the drivers battling for the free pass, and neither of them will get it. The irony of that, those drivers, they were fighting the hardest. They were trying to outdo one another to get a lap back. Should there have been another caution, and well, they're both the caution. And I'm going to just go out on a limb with the amount of damage both drivers got. They're going to be making a pit stop here, so most likely neither of them will get the wave around here. We'll see. But I strongly don't... Oh, that's right, they are causing a caution. So they can't take the wave around. So here we go, the queue of 8. Head in the pit lane now, 6 on the lead lap, 2, 1 down, and those 2 that are 1 down are the ones going to be restarting at the rear for causing the yellow. So here we go, Crazy and Addy nose to tail. Here we go, we have 62 laps to go. With this pit stop here, these drivers should be good to go on 2 more stops. So here we go, drivers out of pit lane. It's the 42 of Crazy, the 51 of Addy, the 20 of Mids, the 41 of Scott. So here we go, we're going green this time by on the front row. Crazy is the race leader, but he elects the outside lane. Interesting to see if he can clear the 51 on the inside. Row 2 is made up of the 20 and the 41. Row 3, we've got the 55 and the 78. And row 4 are the 2 cars who restart this race now 1 lap down, and both the causes of the caution. So double wide, we're ready to do it again. Green flag is in the air. We're racing. Both of these drivers on the front row got an amazing start. Side by side and toe to toe goes Addy and Crazy, the 2 fastest today, and they're going to be side by side through 1 and 2. Crazy trying to get the run off the corner, and that's just the nature of the restarts at this track. He did not stay to the outside of Addy. That's a not so great decision, and not in the favor of the 42 car. And the 42 hits the wall. Addy right now trying to fend off Miz in second. Clutch trying to clear the 42 for third. And Clutch making contact with the 41 of Scott. That's going toe to toe. That's fourth. Back out front, it's the two drivers who we've seen put on a show all race. Addy and Clutch, the 51 and the 55. Here, 60 laps to go in this race, the Texas 250. We know all about it. Oh, Clutch maybe got his fender under the 51, but it was too close to tell. Maybe he should have let off there. The 42 really loose in the back, making contact with the 31. And around they go. Both of them went around. That can be a caution. We're waiting on their call. Neither of them are calling it as of yet. I can... Side by side for the race lead we go. It's Addy and Clutch. I can't believe that's not a yellow. We stay green. Addy, Clutch, and Miz nose to tail for the top three, and it's Scott, Spoob, and Cracker nose to tail those back three. The 42 is still running, so the 42 is not done. He keeps running. The 31 pits for what I would assume is repairs. I am baffled. Wow. So right now, Addy hanging on to the top spot. Clutch now trying to fend off Miz for second. Now we got 6 cars nose to tail battling for the race lead, and one of those cars is a lap down, so that's 5 cars battling for the race lead, but 6 cars nose to tail. And now the 42 is called a day. I believe 42 is called a day done, actually. Sitting there for a while now. Now 42 still in the pit lane now. The 51 of Addy still out in front over Clutch and Miz. And that is now confirmed. 42 is day done. Blown engine after a heavy incident there off of turn 2. Somehow did not result in a yellow. But here we go. 3 cars still going hard for the race lead. Oh, and Miz hits the wall. Big time contact for the 20. The 41 goes by with ease. The 78 does as well. Miz is trying to nurse the car back to him. I'm sure that's not going to go good with the right front suspension of that car. And back up front, the Showman and the 51 and the 55, Addy and Clutch, still nose to tail. This time by should be 51 laps to go. We know how hard these guys have fought all day long. The 55 trying to get his fender underneath the 51 from places I don't even know how. Diving to the inside is the 55 of Clutch. They're going to be side by side out of 2. Addy will go back and clear Clutch as we head back to turn 3. Nice of you to join the stream, Jay Wood. Running all over each other. We've been so occupied with this front 2, we haven't been able to realize that Spoob has now cleared his way to 3rd. And he's a-coming. He's got Miz and Scott duking it out for 4th behind him. And these two duking it out in front of him. He's got nothing to do but run his line. Again, the 51 of Addy battling so hard, trying to fend off the 55 through these corners. 55 trying to get his fender underneath the 51 on the entry of both corners. It's just not happening, but he's got to try and try. That's just the nature of the racing, the package we're given to race these days. It is so hard to pass on a single groove racetrack, but man, that 55 has given top-notch effort today. And now it's becoming a battle. Spoob and Miz, they're going to go toe-to-toe for 3rd position. Those are championship contenders, trying to build some momentum on their way to Homestead come 2 weeks' time. They'll have a chance to go for the championship, but they're going side by side for the race lead. Clutch on the inside, Addy on the outside, into 1 we go. Clutch trying to clear Addy, but Addy with the run on the exit. They're going to be side by side again down the back, and Addy will clear Clutch. And now a wide line through 3 and 4. That's Clutch trying to get a run off the corner. Maybe use the slipstream of Addy to try to get back into this battle. The battle for 3rd really heating up. That's Spoob trying to fend off Miz. And Scott there as well. Cracker is 1 down, but he's got a good view of it. Oh, the 41 and the 9 almost both get into the wall. Miz to the inside of Spoob, and oh, there's some contact. Spoob and the 41 of Scott, they make some contact. I believe Spoob was trying to get to pit road. Now he is. And Spoob had issues on his pit entry, and he's got to go around. The 41 of Scott is in the pit lane. Here comes the 55, the pit lane. So right now, Addy out in front of Miz. They have yet to pit. They got to be smart with their pit stops here. If they can make it on 2 more stops, drivers pitting now are setting themselves up for a 1-stop stint to the end. So here comes Addy and Miz and Cracker. Actually, it's going to be a far stretch here. They're pitting now, but they have to. So it's going to be they got to stretch it for the rest of this race if they're going to make it on 2 stops. If they're going to go all out and use everything they got, they're going to have to make a 3rd stop. Oh, and Addy coming to pit lane. He's going to hold up the 78 of Spoob. I'm sure it didn't help the 51 as well either, though. So it's going to be interesting to see what order they come off the pit lane. And Hoover racing on the exit. The 20 of Miz is down and away. He's battling the 9 of Cracker. Miz with a great advantage due to that pit entry, or that box issue with the 51. There goes the 31. He still has to pit. The 55 is coming with a full head of steam, though. And Clutch passes Miz, and Clutch takes over the race lead over Miz. Comes the 31 to pit lane. He is 1 down. Actually, I think the 31 was the race leader there and now surrendered it. So the 55 of Clutch out in front with a sizable margin over Miz. Addy absolutely was screwed on the incident with himself in the 78 coming in and out of their pit stalls. Spoob as well. Spoob right now running 5th. Scott running 4th. The 31 is down and away. So we got 5 cars on the lead lap. That would be Clutch, Miz, Addy, Scott, Spoob, and Cracker and Freak should both be 1 down. So again, Clutch has a sizable margin. It would be interesting to see, does he try to save the amount of fuel he does have to try to make this a one-stop stint, or one-stop race to the end? Or is he committed to a 2-stop strategy from here on out? The likelihood of another caution at the moment is really low as everybody runs spread out along the racetrack. 37 laps to go here. Again, Clutch has given top-notch effort all day to find a way around Addy. And I'm sure that's not the way he wants to get around Addy. But it just came down to a nature of the game when it comes to pitting. And how these drivers, they have zero control of how they drive down pit lane. And how something as simple as the game's lack of acknowledging another car to the outside of a car on pit lane can define the outcome of a race. But there's still a lot of racing to go, and I mean, a caution can happen and really change this race up, but should we go green to the end, it's not looking in the favor of a driver who had dominated most of the day. When really neither driver was at fault for the incident that caused him to be there. Here we go, we're working 34 laps to go. Clutch, again, has a pretty good margin, and Miz has not been really looking to close that margin, so I have to assume either they're saving at the exact same pace or they're both running all out. So again, the strategy, when do you pit? How long can you stretch your current set of fuel and tires? Also, Cracker just got out in front of Miz, so maybe Miz is trying to save. How long can you take this set of fuel and tires you have? Can you time it out right to where you split the rest of the stint in half? These drivers, they can go just under 20 laps on fuel and tires. They pitted with about 42 to 44 laps to go, so it's it's a tough one. I definitely wouldn't want to be one of those guys sitting up on top of the pit box having to figure this out, that's for sure. Here comes the 55 of Clutch. He's laying his bed. He's making this a 2-stop strategy to the end. 31 laps to go, and Miz takes over the race lead. That means Cracker, for the moment, is on the lead lap. Right now, Miz, I mean, he has an absolute insane gap over the 51 of Addy. Here comes the 55. He's down and away. The 51 and the 41, they're battling for third. That is Addy and Scott. They're going toe-to-toe for third. Or not at the moment, but the 41 really closing the gap with the help of Slipstream on the 51. The 41 to the outside of the 51. Again, this is going on for second. Scott trying to get the run down the backstretch. Addy fighting back hard on the inside. The 41 is Scott. He will clear Addy. Addy trying to get that slipstream to get the run through the center and exit of the corner. Looks like Scott is starting to drive away from Addy, so my guess is Addy's probably trying to stretch his fuel to try to make this a one-stop race to the end. Spoob, I believe, it's hard to tell. He's running alone, so he really doesn't have anyone to compare to. Right now he's running fourth. And even if he were to finish where he is now, that's not a bad run for him. It's looking great. Here he comes to pit lane, so Spoob's laid his bed. Here comes the 41 as well. And guess what? Addy and Miz, they have stayed out. Clutch has made his bed. We got the varying strategies going on now. How far can you take your set of fuel and tires? 26 laps to go. 25 for Miz now. That's tough. Can Miz stretch it at least like another 4 laps? I know that's asking a lot, but if you're trying to make it on one stop, I think you gotta stretch another 4 laps. And then be absolutely stretching your last stint. So Spoob and Scott and Clutch, they've gone for the more aggressive route. Just run all out. Use all the stuff up you need to. Addy letting the 55 unlap himself to him. Gives him lots of room. Not trying to abuse any of his equipment. These guys, they're going aggressive. Miz and Addy, they're going more conservative. I believe Cracker, he's on the same strategy, just a lap down. These drivers, they've got to be on the edge of it. I mean, right now Miz is 22 laps from the end. There goes Clutch. I believe he's unlapping himself to Miz. I believe Miz is coming in this time. He's running low on the racetrack, so there he goes. Addy follows suit. They've gone about as long as they can. They're coming around to 21 laps to go. So they're going to pit now. This is going to be their last stop, and they're going to try to absolutely stretch their last set of tires and fuel to the end. The 31 follows suit as well, but he's one down. I believe the 9 of Cracker Here comes the 9 Cracker. Again, he's also lapped down. The 55, he's coming for full head of steam. No doubt he's going to come flying by these guys. There goes the 55 of Clutch. Takes over the race lead yet again. Here the thing is, the two different strategies. Clutch has got a pit. Scott and Smooth, they're coming for full head of steam, and they're going to be battling the guys. They're going to fly by these guys. But they've got a pit as well. Addy, Miz, they're going to the end. But they can't run as fast as they can. They've got to save at least another 3 or 4 laps on fuel. The varying strategies again, another one of, it's either a thriller to the end or it's a strategy race to the end here in the Veedverks Cup Outlaws series. And either of them never fail to disappoint. Right now, Scott and Spoob, they're going toe-to-toe for second position. Clutch, he's got a 17-second lead. And he's coming around to 19 laps to go. Or Clutch is now on 19 laps to go. And Spoob has cleared the 41 of Scott to second. So Spoob to second. But again, Clutch, Spoob, Scott, they've got a pit. Miz and Addy, they're going to the end. Or they're going to try. 18 to go. So the guys who have to pit, they're now in their pit window. So we're going to expect the guys who have to pit in anytime soon. They are in the pit window. Especially that 55. He was, I believe, the first car to pit. So, riding with Clutch, I believe he's putting Cracker a lap. That should be a second lap down, possibly. Here comes the 55, though. He's coming to pit road now. So this is the last stop for Clutch. So that means that this time by the 78 of Spoob should be taking over the race lead. There he goes. He went by the 55. So Spoob is your race leader over the 41 of Scott. Again, they have to pit. But when do they pit is the question. And what do they take when they pit? Do they try to stretch another 7, 8 laps? And do they take 2 tires or no tires and a splash or a can of fuel? A lot of varying strategies. I'm sure the 55 came and just took 4 tires and fuel because he's at the very edge of the window now. 15 to go. This time by will be 14 laps to go. I'm not expecting the 78 or the 41 to make it 14 more laps. But if they can, oh my, that'd be a miracle. I'm pretty sure they're coming in for another stop. But when? They're also hoping for that magic C word. That changes everything. $14 to go. 13 and a half. And counting. Right now, Miz running third is the first car who's trying to make it to the end. But he does have to run a somewhat reduced pace to save those 3 or 4 laps of fuel he has to. So Miz running third, Addy running fourth, and Clutch is a lap down. $11.5 laps to go. And it's getting spicy. Here comes the 41 to pit lane. The 55 of Clutch, he's coming from full head of steam. He's trying to unlap himself. The guy who might be able to steal all the thunder from Miz and Addy may be this 55 car. Right now, Spoob is coming to pit lane now. He's pitting with 10 laps to go. Clutch unlaps himself. Miz is coming by with a full head of steam. Spoob is in the pit lane now. Miz takes over the race lead. Can Miz make it on fuel? You can tell the 31 is pulling a gap on Miz, so Miz is running at a somewhat reduced pace from what he can run. So, what's the gap that Miz has on Addy? Well, Addy's on the backstretch, and Miz is on his way into turn 1. You can assume that Addy's really on extreme fuel conservation mode. Can Miz make it at the rate he's saving? Everything is the 55. He's coming for full head of steam up on Addy soon. Oh, you hate to see it. Spoob had a little bit of trouble on his pit exit and hit the wall coming out. Not only that, but the 41 did short pit the 78, so the 41 did get the 4th. Clutch right now running 3rd, and it's closing big time on Addy. This could be what it is. This could be it. Addy's got to be able to fend him off to finish 2nd and try to make it on fuel. What's it gonna be? These two have fought all day. Who's gonna get the better of these two? 7 laps to go. Side by side down the backstretch. This is for 2nd. Addy trying to fend him off with a run on the exit. And no, he drops behind him. So move Clutch to 2nd position. Man, it's a godly gap Miz has over Clutch. 6 laps to go. 5 and some change now. Addy, though, can try to use some slipstream of the 55 to maybe save, because he's really going at the 55 now. Four to go. I'm sorry, 5 to go. Spoob just unlapped himself to Miz. Clutch is coming with a full head of steam, and now it's about the length of the quad oval that Miz has over Clutch. It's 4 laps to go now. Clutch is a-coming. And Addy's right on the back bumper of Clutch as well. This could be interesting. Coming around to 3 laps to go. Can Miz make it? He's got a sizable gap. The 55 and the 51 are going toe-to-toe for 2nd. This is going to end the plans, possibly, of the 55 trying to edge out, trying to win this race. Can Miz make it? The 55 and the 51, that's Addy and Clutch. They're going toe-to-toe for 2nd. This time that will be 2 laps to go. You see Cracker up in front of these two. He's having a hard time keeping his car under control. I'm sure he's on the oldest tires he's been all race. 2 laps to go. Miz has got about the length of the backstretch. So, depending on if Miz can't make it on fuel, depending on where he runs out, he'll have a decent gap. Oh, you hear drivers, they're running out of gas. Addy right now in second. Addy fighting really hard to try to keep clutch behind, and we're on the last lap here at Texas. Miz is coming down the backstretch. Full song into turn 3. And he's not lifting. And you know what? He's coming to 3 and 4, and Miz is going to add some momentum on his way to Homestead. Miz is going to win the Texas 250. A battle for second. Oh, and they crash at the line. Addy puts clutch into the wall. Addy will come home second. Clutch finishes third. The 41 is out of fuel and the 78 comes by. This is the battle for fourth. Smooth, he's going to come home fourth. Scott finishes fifth. Cracker will come home sixth. The 31's out of fuel. Cracker comes home sixth. The 31 trying to make it to the end here. And the 31 will finish this race seventh. The 42 of Crazy DNF'd finished 8th. The 95 of Markle DNF'd and finished 9th. And Motorsports DNF'd in turn 1 finished 10th. So how about that? Miz and Addy, they won the stages. Miz won the race. Clutch finishes 3rd. Smoothie 4th. Scott 5th. Cracker 6th. Freak 7th. Crazy 8th. Markle 9th. Motorsports 10th. So some added momentum for Miz. Alright. So we get post-race interviews? Alright, so I got Miz, I got Addy and Clutch. Alright. Y'all three stay in here. I'll conduct some post-race interviews here. Alright. So, some added momentum for Miz heading into the next round. Oh, that's right. I actually have to get some party audio open, though. Alright. Let me get this all set up. Here, party audio. Alright. Alright, so after last week of party people coming home with the win at Martinsville, this week it's another championship contender. Miz coming with the win here at Texas. And we'll go reverse order here. First, let's go ahead and let's talk the third place Clutch. Clutch, you got me?
At 10-4?
Oh, wait, before that, let me make sure you have your party audio shared to the broadcast, and you too, Addy. And
Can you send me your link?
Link? To the...
to your live stream.
I can post it in the chat, yeah.
I'm not in that chat.
Oh. Alright.
Thank you.
Cool. Alright. You can do this by going to the party screen, party settings, and then where it says allow your voice to be shared, you can allow for the current party.
That's on.
Alright. And Addy?
I'm all set.
Alright. So let's go ahead and we'll go interviews backwards finishing order. So first we'll talk to third place Clutch. Man, it was a hard fought race for you today. First, just tell me about the race from your perspective, and I'm sure you thought you had a chance to win. Did you think you were gonna catch Miz there at the end? And actually, just tell me about your race first.
Well, I was following the 51 the whole race, so I'm used to that. And at the end of it there, I thought I was catching the 20 because I was gaining on him, And then once we hit like 5 laps to go, he just kept a steady pace, and I couldn't gain on him. And then 51, me and him started battling, and we like racing each other real hard, so that was fun.
So I heard you say you race Addy on a more regular basis. I guess you race on the Monday League that has been mentioned several times. But this is your first start in this league. What is your thoughts on your first start in this league, and do you plan on sticking around for more?
Yeah, it was a good, clean race. Everybody was aggressive and clean, and no tempers flaring. I thought it was very fun.
Glad to hear it. And with that, how do you feel about the rest of the season? Phoenix and Homestead, do you think you can pull off a win there before the season's out?
I feel like Phoenix is a pretty good track for me. Homestead, not so much, so we'll look forward to Phoenix and hopefully get a win there.
All right, well, congratulations on your third place finish, and that was an amazing effort out of you today. You were a lot of fun to watch, so congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next we're joined by second place finisher Addy. Addy, first, it's great to talk to you again after a while.
Yeah, man. How you been?
I've been great, but this is all about you. So go ahead and tell me about your race. You had a dominating race, and how does it feel that you just couldn't get the job done there at the end?
Yeah, well, the old saying, you win some, you lose some. Had a great car. Real good on the long runs. I don't think anyone else had as good of a long run car as us, but short run, we lacked a little bit. It was a real good race. Out of our controls, 704 Gods took over and decided to end things differently, but that's all right. It was a great race.
Yeah, that incident with Spoob, I mean, neither of you were at fault. It was just the game.
Yeah, that's just dumb luck. You can't control that.
Did you think you had the fastest car today? I mean, I'm sure if we looked at the lobby board, it's like I didn't look at it.
Josh had the quickest lap, so he definitely had a quicker car than me. But I don't know if we had the fastest, but the best long run car for sure.
And you didn't see the 20 of Miz towards the end there at stage 2, but what about battling the 42? Did you think you had? What was your car compared to the 42 car?
That 42 car was crazy fast. He was just following me through the field a couple times, trying to get me to mess up, give me a few bumps, but wasn't able to get by. It was crazy. I put the whole field down, pretty much 6 cars. That's incredible. I don't think I've ever done that before.
Hey, that was outstanding in the first stage.
Strat. And the 20, I couldn't believe he saved that much gas. That's crazy, because I saved for 30 laps just to make it that far, and he just kept pulling away. So
yeah, tell me about that strategy in the third stage, and on that final stint, did you have enough, and by how much?
Yeah, I had enough to go another lap if needed. I had saved as strong as I could because I knew Josh was coming, and with about 3 seconds left, or 3 seconds gap, I started picking it back up right before he caught me, and then tried to stay ahead of him, hoping that the 20 would run out of field, but he stretched it.
Yeah, you and the 55, y'all were fun to watch all day. That was an amazing battle from lap 1 to lap 167, and even in the wall afterwards. So congratulations on your second place finish. Thanks for a great show, and we'll see if you can pull it off next week or 2 weeks' time at Homestead.
Thanks. Excited to go short track racing.
All right, and we're joined by our race winner, Miz. Starting to become less and less of a stranger to this place called Victory Lane. Congratulations on your win here at Texas. How was the car, and did you think you had a fast enough car to actually pull this thing off?
I know I didn't have a fast enough car. That's why I tried saving as much as I did. But I have to give a shout out to Corey, because he's really, at the beginning of season, all them races that I thought I was going to win on pit strategy and didn't. I've really been practicing the fuel saving, so just happy to finally get one in the cup.
So it looked like your car, you just kind of flipped the switch about halfway through this race there in stage 2. You just kind of flipped the switch and started having some speed there. What change did you make, or what happened that your car came to speed and got some speed, and you got there? You got the stage one there, and at the end of stage 2.
It had the speed the whole time. It's just track position, making little dumb mistakes, missing my entry in the 3. So it really made me fall back, and it was just really the draft really showed more speed than I really had. And once I got out front, I was just able to stay out front for those couple laps to pick up that stage win.
So
that draft was really big.
Tell me about the third stage and all that crazy strategy, and how you managed to save enough fuel, and how much more did you have?
I think if we had to go another lap, I would have been out by turn 2. I just saved enough because when I came out of the pits, I wasn't saving anything. I stayed going for the first 5-6 laps trying to keep a gap because I believe it was 55 pitted early, and I knew he was going to be coming, so I just figured if I can start saving after they start pitting, I should be all right. And I was paying attention to the gap. I knew when they called each other for second and third, I knew they were going to be racing, so I knew I could save a little bit then too. But I was worried.
Even with all that strategy and the 55 coming, was there anybody else you were worried about? Did you think you were going to save enough fuel to stay out in front of the 51?
Well, I knew I had enough fuel to stay out in front. I just wasn't sure if he was going to be faster with good tires. That was the biggest concern. But once he started battling and it stayed at 5 seconds gap, I felt confident.
All right, so we all know everybody who's going to compete for a championship in 2 weeks' time, they're already in. But this win adds some momentum, and how, considering this is the last mile and a half race of the season before Homestead. How do you feel heading into Homestead in 2 weeks' time for a shot at the championship?
Very confident. It's one of my favorite tracks. Been working on the setup. I'm not even looking at Phoenix. I'm not excited about Phoenix at all. That's one of my worst tracks. So Homestead, I'm excited. I know the party's going to be fast. I know Cracker and Spooby's been working, so we're going to put on a show.
Well, a lot of fun. Interesting way how you came out on top there at the end. But congratulations, and I mean, we'll see you next week as well. But what really matters is come 2 weeks' time, you'll have a 25% chance of winning a title.
As long as I got 1%, that's all I need.
All right. Well, again, congratulations, and thanks for stopping by and answering the questions.
Yes,
all
sir,
right.
Thank you.
So that was a fun race. It was action-packed throughout the first 2 stages and a very interesting final stage. The way cautions fell there at the end, it led these drivers to have varying strategies, 2-3 different strategies. They all played out. They all 3 almost came together there at the end. 2 did clash there at the start-finish line. But it was Miz who came out on top with the race win here. More added momentum. It's the final mile and a half race of the season prior to the championship 4 race at Homestead. So I'm sure that is great momentum heading there. Nice setup to build a base off of there. He said he's already been working though, so if this setup was anything, it's going to be fun to see him at Homestead. This is a fun one, 167 laps at the Texas Motor Speedway. Tune in tomorrow night for the Veedverks Bandit Series here at the Texas Motor Speedway. That should be 200 laps. It's going to be a fun night as well. For that, it's Miz and Spoob. They're going for the title there in Bandit, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of races they have tomorrow, because, again, it is the last mile and a half race of the season before Homestead. So this is usually a good indicator about what kind of car and what kind of race we're going to have down there. So 200 laps tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you go to Veedverks.com and use promo code VCOS for discounts on CBD-based products and needs. And again, I'm Emerson Arn. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay cool because it is hot out there. And we'll see y'all tomorrow.